Morning, folks. This is Waylon Lewis coming to you live from Boulder, Colorado. Or if you're watching this later, it's not live. Here's a little early highlight or reward for everyone. Look at that boy. He's been thinking for about, as you can see. Lie down, boo. You can lie down. Oh. He's been thinking for about 5 minutes about going to sleep. No likes for Redford, huh? He's usually a like factory. I point the camera at him and people go crazy. Point the camera at me and the video goes dead. So I'm in Boulder, Colorado today. I worked super late last night and I was super inspired to do so. That's what you get to do when you run your own business. And I see Sarah just tuned in. Sarah is a super sweetie who I get to work with, except I never get to work with her because she's in London or something. But big love to Sarah. So as we build our audience here, I wanted to talk about something really powerful and sweet, which is childhood. So we posted a whole bunch of It Gets Better videos. I don't know if you all remember those videos a few years ago. They seem to have sort of slowed down or died out. But they were really powerful videos coming from celebrities, coming from various important people, Obama, Stephen Colbert, actors, actresses, saying, you know, I got bullied too when I was a kid, and then I grew up and I got to be me without any sense of shame, and it gets better. And those were beautiful videos. And I just thought, well, I had a kind of amazing childhood, but I also had a sort of rough childhood. I was a big nerd, still am, and I skipped a grade, and I went from a Buddhist-inspired private school called Vidya, which means insight or knowledge or gnosis, to Casey Junior High, which was probably one of our worst schools here at the time, where everyone just tried to beat everyone up every day. It was sort of a ritual or a tradition, and you know, people were doing slick willies in my ear, and the people were like huge, intimidating, mean blonde guys with mullets, and I was short because I'd skipped a grade, and I just had no clue. I didn't know how to swear. I literally didn't swear. I was just a little mama's boy. I was a sweet little kid, and I got eaten alive. So I just thought, yesterday we talked about, or recently we talked about, so I did a video on the Billy Bush kind of notion that many of us have been around older men who talk about women in a inappropriate way, a way that feels bad. So I did a video there, and it seemed like a lot of young people tuned in, a lot of young people, that's what old people say. A lot of young people tuned in, a lot of parents really appreciated it. So I thought I'd kind of expand upon that and talk about just generally what I learned when I was a kid, when I was a child, when I was a boy, about how to have a great childhood. I was blessed to have a wonderful, sweet mama, single mom, who worked really hard. But before we go any farther, let's please, if you're just tuning in, say where you're from. It's sort of our little tradition here with these Facebook Lives. We have a couple 100,000 people tune in, which is really exciting, including our youtube.com/Elephant Journal audience. So if you can put in our subscription to YouTube, where we have almost 5 million views, that would be appreciated. Editor. I'm talking to the editors. So there's 2 editors on duty. Abigail from Pendleton, Oregon. Is that where the blankets come from? Pendleton is one of my favorite companies. I'll prove it by showing you. You just have to be careful with Pendleton now because they're not making everything in the U.S. Shame on them. Shame. For shame. Here you go. So this is one of the great Pendleton blankets because it goes to support the Native American, or, well, I guess it's still called the American Indian College Fund, and it's a traditional design. So it's a nice way to support a great community. So if you're just tuning in, say where you're from, and Also, if you don't mind, if you can give this video a like and a share, the video will expand through Facebook's mean old algorithm, which is suppressing everything, unless it gets likes or shares. So if you don't mind, give it a like, give it a share, give it a funny, weird emoticon face, whatever you like, and that'll help this video go beyond the choir to all those who might give a care. So thank you so much. I see a big stream of likes going across the page. Stacy from El Reno, Oklahoma. Adam from not too far away, Parker. Jennifer from Savannah, Georgia. Nick from Portland, Maine. Love Maine. I used to live in Vermont. And by the way, if anyone doesn't like Hillary, that is okay. I have an endorsement of Hillary, which explains my reasoning, if you'd like to read it. But Elephant is a community that is allowed to disagree. We're allowed to disagree with each other. We encourage it. It's any real community is going to have dialogue, and we can respect one another. Sort of like in sports, if you're going up against a team that you respect, but maybe you don't agree with, but you're all sort of part of this larger love for the sport. All righty. Taylor from Orange County. Katrina from Houston. We do not have a problem. Tracy from Phoenix. Yvonne from Eagle. Deb from Michigan. Margot from Iowa. I apologize. I am both exhausted and overcaffeinated. Vanessa from Barcelona. That should be a t-shirt for me. Sharon, Manchester, England. Jackie, Vancouver. And Kat is our editor on duty, so big love to Kat. Where's Sarah? She's not saying anything. I miss Sarah badly. There she is. Ah, good timing. Oh, Sarah. All right, Alexis from Utah. Douglas, hey, buddy. Haven't seen you for a little bit. From rainy Chicago. I'm in rainy Boulder. It rained all last... Oops. You saw my frame is askew. So it rained all last night. There's my backyard. Up to the right, you can see my tree house. See that? It's crazy. To the left, you can see the... Well, somewhere in there behind the prayer flags are the solar panels that charge my entire house. And here's an update on the Redford situation. The great thing about dogs is if you cuddle with them or pet them or just look at them, you wind up relaxing. They're kind of a shortcut to Buddhahood. Something like that. Alrighty, so let's jump in. So this hopefully can be a crowd-funded conversation. You don't have to give me any money. You can just give me your ideas, your comments, your questions. So what helped you have a good childhood? And what can help others have a good childhood? And if we're adults, how can we reconnect with our childhood in a meaningful way? So first of all, I'll share the Buddhist slogan from Trungpa Rinpoche. I wrote a blog about Shambhala Sun Summer Camp. We could maybe put that in the link. Any of you who have children between 10 and 16, or less than 10 in a couple years they can go, but between 10 and 16 you can go to Sun Camp, which is a Buddhist-inspired, you don't have to be Buddhist to go, and they won't make you be Buddhist. It's not culty in that way. It's just a mindful summer camp, and it's kind of amazing and weird and great. It's like Buddhist Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts in a way. But there's a slogan there that says, not afraid to be a fool. So when I was a boy, I naturally was not afraid to be a fool, not because I was brave, but because I couldn't help it, you know. When you're young, all you want to do is be exuberant and kind of run around. So I would run down the halls. I was obsessed with basketball, and I would pretend I was playing basketball, and I'd try and dunk on the light fixtures. At the time, I lived in the light fixtures in the ceiling, you know. And at the time, I lived in Vermont at Karmacholing, which is a Buddhist meditation center. So all the residents of the otherwise solemn Buddhist meditation center didn't appreciate my trying to be like Michael Jordan or whomever. So there's this quality of, even if you're in a kind of uptight, quiet Buddhist meditation center, you might want to run down the halls and try and dunk on the ceiling. That's a wonderful quality that we can bring into our adulthood. When we're young, well, what's a good tip for when we're young? Maybe I'll read comments. Maybe you have something. Letting your children pretend, Stacy. That's a beautiful one. So children exercise their imagination every day. And adults almost do the opposite, right? And we often do the opposite for our children, which is we put them in front of screens and we give them movies. And movies are okay because they can kind of expand our imagination in a way. But the best thing of all is just straight up imagining. And so maybe teaching your child how to write and how to tell stories and how to play. You don't have to do much. I would spend hours on my Persian rug, this old tattered Persian rug that I actually still have beneath my dining table. It's one of the few things I have from my childhood. And I would play Matchbox cars on it, using the lines of the Persian rug for roads. Or I would play, I had knights and horses and all that stuff. And my mom made a castle for me. I might have helped, but she made most of it out of cardboard. It was good she made it because she was so artistic. It was beautiful. So I think playing pretend or out in the woods, is one of the best things because it basically, I don't know about it from a scientific point of view. Maybe one of you do, but it just literally expands your mind into new pathways of thinking about the world. And then when you're a grown-up adult and someone says, say, I like Clinton or I like Trump, instead of having a fixed kind of aggressive reaction to that, we have imagination. So we've gone left, we've gone right, we've gone up, we've gone down, we've gone in, we've gone out, and we can respond to it in a kind of more fluid, creative way. So there's a quote from my article about Sun Camp. It's back to nature, but you learn how to march, which is sort of like marching around, coordination of body and mind in the present moment. You can't turn left with everyone else if you're thinking about something. So it's basically great meditation for children. Often we adults try and get our children to meditate. That can be great, but that can also be hard for children because it's so, frankly, boring. You're containing your body. When I was young, I wanted to run around. I didn't want to just sit. So, my mom got me to sit a bit, but I never really connected with meditation until I was about 16, maybe 15. And I connected to it, ironically, not through meditation, but through philosophy. I studied some Buddhist philosophy, and I said, wow, this is amazing stuff. This is almost like Henry David Thoreau, the stuff that I love at my high school, St. Johnsbury Academy. So I actually entered into Buddhism through my intellect. And then I said, well, if this philosophy stuff is so cool and so profound and so inspiring, and it makes so much sense to me, maybe I'll give this meditation stuff a go. And then continuing on with Sun Camp, it doesn't matter if you're cool or not. Everyone's a family. It's about kindness. So children can be so cruel in terms of being cool. It's almost like this weird dictatorship of cool. I was cool at various points in high school. I was never that cool, obviously, but people thought I was cool at various points. But when I was in junior high, I was the opposite of cool. I literally wore a sweatshirt that had Sherlock Holmes on it, and there hadn't been any cool movies about Sherlock Holmes. He was not cool, while reading this book that I still have that was this thick with Sherlock Holmes. And I'd be walking around reading my Sherlock Holmes book wearing a Sherlock Holmes sweater. And I remember this beautiful girl who ironically was named Casey. I was attending Casey Junior High. In front of the whole class, looking over at me, kind of squinting, saying, Waylon, are you wearing a Sherlock Holmes sweatshirt while reading Sherlock Holmes? And the entire class tittered and laughed at me. Not one of my better moments. And I literally had no idea. I looked down and I said, oh, I guess I am. So if you're not cool, childhood can be rough, so let's not idealize childhood. So a great way to be cool when you're a kid is to not care about being cool, is to let go of that. I have no idea how you do that, but I did have a friend, Saul Halpern, who I'm still friends with. He's in Boulder here, leading a mindful finance company, and he would just, I remember my friend Noel McClellan would say in high school, Saul would just, in the lunch cafeteria thing where it's all about sitting with some friends and not being alone and being cool, Saul would just go off, sit on some steps, sit alone, and start eating. And before he knew it, there were like 20 people around him trying to be with him. And he was just always sort of the center of attention because on some level he did what he wanted. And he was confident in that. So being cool has something, in a genuine way, being cool has something to do with being willing to be completely grounded and confident in your own judgment. And that's something we can practice, we can develop through meditation, just grounding in the present moment. So we'll practice that in a minute. So I hope that was mildly helpful. Lisa, where is Sun Camp? Sun Camp is in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado at Shambhala Mountain Center. It's in the south of France somewhere, or south of Paris. I've actually never been. It's Detchencholing, I believe. And it's in Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia, near Halifax. So it used to be in Vermont as well. It really should be again. But yeah, you can look it up anyway through that article if you like. Yeah, Tracy, I love that. That's the best comment of the day. Boredom fuels an amazing imagination. So when we're children, like Calvin and Hobbes style, the most inspiring thing about it, I remember summers were just full of magic. They seemed endless. 3 months seemed like an endless time, partially because there was a great deal of boredom in there. So you just lived every day in kind of in the present moment, and my life wasn't filled with TV or movies or to-do lists or being shuttled around to various activities. I just had to create my own fun and run around with my friends and go play in the woods or whatever it was. When I was in Boulder, it was more like skateboarding. But I think that's a wonderful gift we can give our children, is not to entertain them. Trungpa Rinpoche often talked about entertainment as being... Redford just went. Entertainment being unhealthy. So... I'm not sure if this is boring. Maybe you can leave a comment. Is this boring, or is this a conversation we want to have? I like to have it. But I can also switch to something else. Amber Lee in Charlotte, North Carolina. My book just arrived in the mail. I'm looking forward to reading it. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. So I wrote a book called Things I'd Like to Do With You. We could put a link in the comments. It's about love from a kind of exploring what is love in 2016, what is love and commitment that we can honor and stay committed to, and that love probably isn't this kind of fixed claustrophobic gender role thing. It's probably got room for space, for creativity, for loneliness, for independence. So I wrote about that, anyway. Some folks from Cheltenham, UK, Glastonbury, UK, Denver, Utah, rainy Chicago. I think I already covered that one. Some love for Redford, Central Valley, California. Yeah, Michelle, didn't have a very good childhood, but I'm trying to reparent myself now. That's a beautiful comment. So we can experience our childhood right now. I'm 42, and this morning I was doing something, and I was just laughing and kind of smiling to myself. There's this sort of dorky quality you can get into. You can sing songs out loud. You can sing in the shower. That might be our second tip. You can, singing in the shower is a wonderful way to experience instant childhood. Just sing anything. You can sing a sad song. You can sing a happy song. You don't have to fake happiness. You can just be your dorky, sweet self, and then you'll find yourself not taking yourself seriously. And that's probably one of the most Buddhist qualities ever. Often people on Elephant will argue about veganism or fracking or Trump or gluten-free or what positivity. And they get so serious. Like gluten-free is probably as important in their fixed mind, our fixed mind, as say the Taliban or ISIS or the refugee crisis. We get as uptight about gluten-free as we do about ISIS. We get as uptight about veganism or fracking as we do about, as we should about something that actually matters to millions of human beings. So it's not that gluten-free or fracking don't matter, but it's that we have this tendency as human beings to take ourselves way too seriously. So one of the most wonderful things to do is to not take what we love seriously. So that doesn't mean that we don't value it. If you're in a relationship, it's wonderful not to take your love for one another too seriously. Have fun with it. Be dorky. And that keeps the love flowing instead of making it this fixed, serious thing. You know, there's this sort of recipe in rom-coms where they meet cute. Oh, I dropped my book in a bookstore. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, we go on a first date. Oh, we fall in love. And then something goes wrong and they're running through the airport crying. And nowhere in there is this sort of dorky, fun thing, which is one of the best parts of love, which is just having a sense of humor, a sense of intimate caring with a light touch. And again, that's something you can practice through meditation. When you rest your mind on the breath, you don't do it in a fixed, uptight way. When you see yourself being distracted, you don't condemn yourself. You just gently do it. So, before I forget, a shout out for our mindful sponsor. They're organic, not just non-GMO. Non-GMO is not a great label. I don't respect it. It's better than nothing, but a lot of things are better than nothing. Getting punched in the face is better than getting kicked in the face. Non-GMO is not enough. Organic is what we need to support. Organic is non-GMO, but it also means that no pesticides were on it. So non-GMO can be soaked in pesticides its entire life. So go for organic. It's also glass, not plastic. And it's also super crazy healthy, especially if you happen to be vegan and you need all the omega-3s and whatnot. So it's Nutso, which is a woman-owned company. I just did an interview with them out in San Diego. And I can't say how impressed I am by them. And most importantly, yes, it's super yummy. So thank you to Nutso. Maybe we can leave a link to Nutso or maybe just a link to my video with Nutso. Also, they have a great name, so what's not to love? Our running joke when we were in San Diego was we had Caitlin, our accountant, whenever I mentioned something was crazy, go, "It's Nutso," from the corner of the screen. I found that funny, but it sort of feels quiet today. Is anyone out there? Redford and I are wondering. There's a lot of people online. Maybe I'll read more comments, and then I won't feel so lonely. Jackie, parents who found a balance between protecting me and trusting and allowing me to make my own decisions. Yeah, that's wonderful. The ability to let go in a relationship furthers love. There's a little quote for Lindsay, Kat. If you can say, "Hey kid, get out of the house, I don't want to see you until dinner," which was sort of the tradition in America in the 1950s, there's a level of trust, but also a level of children have to create their own fun. They have to think for themselves. They learn responsibility. And I understand that can be difficult, depends where you live, etc. But you know, there's a really sad stat that in America, children used to be able to run off all day and then return. And then in the 60s, they weren't allowed to run as far. And then in the 70s, they weren't allowed to run as far. In the 80s, 90s. And now we constrain our children to our front yards, something like 10 yards. So that's not good. There was also a fascinating New York Times article about how children get injured more and more seriously on jungle gyms that are lower and safer. So jungle gyms that are more complicated, where children have to learn step by step how to navigate danger safely they just go one step at a time. Actually give children a sense of intelligence about how to stay safe. Jungle gyms that are super low and everything's cushioned and it's impossible to hurt yourself, children just run all the way up, run all the way down, la la la. They don't learn any sense of danger or consequences, and then they, ironically, when they're in a unsupervised, unsafe situation, they'll run all the way up and they'll fall and they'll get injured more often and more seriously. So allowing children to, skin their knees and climb trees and all that is healthy. All right, Nick, asking myself, what do I want, and paying attention to the answer. Yeah, well, what I want is a croissant, and coffee. But I'm vegan, and I live in a smallish town, so there's no good vegan baked goods. When you go to San Francisco, you realize that vegan baked goods can be amazing. That wasn't a very profound response on my part, but I do want a croissant. I miss it. Alrighty. There's almost nothing better in the world than a croissant. And did you know that croissants are crescent-shaped? Because I think they came from the Middle East. I read that somewhere. So next time you want to be prejudiced toward the Middle East, remember, they gave us the croissant, without which breakfast would be nothing. Morning would be ruined. All right, Yvonne, what I decided to do for my children, preserve their innocent, open, and loving hearts by teaching them about how to lead with their heart, identify and feel emotions, and providing opportunities to practice by serving others. Wow. Including family members, school friends, neighbors, and strangers in need, anyone, and understanding that we are all learning at a different pace and we have different lessons at any given time. Well, if you actually do all that, you might be the world's greatest parent of 2016. Sounds like I want to be a kid in your family. That's an amazing comment. Thank you so much for sharing. It's really impressive. All right, have I missed some comments? I think so. Why am I so serious? Satyam asks. I don't know. Can't tell you, Satyam. I don't feel like I'm very serious. I feel like I'm actually being too silly. So, who knows? Maybe I'm drunk, which would be inappropriate for 11 a.m. All right, Kurt. Freedom and imagination, music and friends, good stuff. Maria. Consistency, love, humor, patience, joy, listening, and freedom to express your feelings with love, communication, and space to grow. My daughter is 12 years old, notoriously messy and stinky. I want you to write an article for Elephant Journal titled, My Daughter is 12 Years Old, Notoriously Messy and Stinky. elephantjournal.com/submit. It's easy to share lots of positive words like feelings, love, communication, humor, patience, joy. But when you say messy and stinky, your love comes through, and it's beautiful and fun. Vanessa, I'm from Venezuela, and something that I loved from my childhood was growing up at the beach in a beautiful natural place, summer all year round. That sounds beautiful. I was just in Encinitas, and we would work all day. We were in a staff retreat, but first thing in the morning and last thing before night, we would run down to the beach, and I've spent almost no time on beaches in my life, and we would play in the sand and play volleyball and run around and jump into the waves and just ride the waves. And yeah, it's amazing. It's quite a gift, and it's beautiful. The best way to keep a gift precious is to value it. So it's great that you value it. Yvonne, real life is so much better than movies, but you can tie them together if you have meaningful conversations with your children. Amen. And give them a frame of reference. They haven't experienced as much as we have. Yeah, of course. Satyam, why am I sad? Oh my God, it's your third question about my seriousness. Now I'm starting to worry about myself. Brinia, when I was growing up, technology wasn't as available as it is now. Therefore, the use of imagination was great. Being able to create and build things from scratch. Yeah, I read a ton when I was a book. And that, like listening to the radio, like my father loves listening to baseball on the radio because your mind just fills in all the gaps, and it's this romantic, beautiful thing. Whereas if you watch it on TV, everything's there for you. It's still fun, but your mind doesn't create. So yeah, there's something really beautiful about imagination versus, just watching sort of the Netflixization or the TVization of our lives. Stacy, act silly and encourage children to be silly too. This builds their sense of humor, valuable in all aspects of grown-up life. Now, that's my favorite comment of the day. I keep having new favorite comments. I love that. So yeah, if you can demonstrate to your children a sense of humor, that might be number 3, or maybe we're on 4 or 5. All right, Satyam, you're a crazy guy. Now I seem hungry and I need food. Jill, having a sense of community with the neighborhood kids. Everyone should drown Satyam in likes because he is a funny guy. All right, Jill, having a sense of community with the neighborhood kids. We all played at each other's houses, in each other's yards, together in the open spaces. Yeah, that was one of the best things about where I lived, 21st and Mapleton in Boulder, Colorado. I would walk over to the Spruce Pool every day and swim. I lived at the swimming pool in the summer. It was really cheap. I did a lot of free things with my mom. We didn't have any money, but there's so much free stuff you can do. Go to the library, watch movies at the library, go to parks. There's just tons of free activities at museums. It was kind of an endless free activities, cultural stuff that my mom would figure out. And and just playing with my neighbors. One of my neighbors had this gorgeous girl named Ruby who was like a foot taller than me. Probably one of my first crushes, and her younger brother was one of my best friends, Francis, and they had a bunch of Model Ts in their backyard, which was pretty cool. All right, Ali, hey from Dublin. Re-childhood, mine was horrible. Books and music were my best friends and still are. Yeah, they're a great refuge. Didn't have any real-life friends. I'm a single parent now, and my son has a childhood I wish I had. But look at that. That is such a beautiful gift you've been able to give to your child. I mean, nothing can be better than giving our children something that we wish we had, right? That's generosity. That's how it should be. He knows he's loved and adored, and there's always a hug and rarely a raised voice. That helps me feel so complete and peaceful, and I sleep very well at night because of that. Allie, I think everyone here has to give Allie a like or give her a comment. Big support to you. And my mom was a single mom, and just, it's a ton of work. So if you ever feel tired, just remember to be kind to yourself. We have a blog called Maitri, and we have a ton of great articles on single momhood or single parenting. Kat, maybe you could put a couple in the comments. Beautiful comment, Allie, and big love to you. Satyam is still caring for me. Satyam is kind of like, he's my guardian angel. Yvonne, being an empath, I see it in my girls and teach them about their abilities in small ways. And as they come up, teaching them that empaths are like trees, except we take in unhealthy energy and send out loving, living energy. Energetic trees. That's great. Yvonne, I don't know if you know about Tonglen, but it's a wonderful thing for empathic people to practice so that you can take in things and you can give out generosity. You can take in stress, you can take in everything. You don't have to reject it, keep it away to protect yourself, but you can do it without hurting yourself, and you can give generously, give kindness, give love. So Tonglen is a wonderful practice for empathic folks. All right, Stacy, encourage children to develop empathy. Amen. Yeah, I remember there was a great moment. We were going for a hike with some young friend of mine and maybe his parents or something. We were hiking up on this place called Bald Mountain, which was a very sacred mountain. And I was taking a stick. When you're a kid, it's fun to bash stuff. And I was taking a stick and I was bashing the trees and breaking off the branches at the bottom. They were probably mostly dead branches. And someone, I don't remember if it was my mom or someone, said, hey, maybe don't do that because you're hurting the trees. And it was kind of a profound moment for me. I was like, oh, trees can be hurt, and I'm hurting them, and that's not nice. So yeah, just being empathic. There was another moment when a bunch of us were smushing ants. Like, it's fun when you're a kid. You're smushing ants. It's like a video game. And then someone pointed out, hey, these ants have families and their, I don't know what they said, but they said something, and I realized, oh, ants are alive, and you don't want to kill ants. It's kind of mean. It's not cool. I have to show you guys Redford one more time. He's been so cute. Crossing his little legs. Look at that. He's sleeping while sitting up. Red, you can lie down, boo. You want to lie down? Lie down, boo. Lie down. My name is Bat. All right. Oh, righty. Heather, great comment. Heather is an apprentice in our academy. We could leave a link to our academy if you want to be trained with the elephant in writing, in blogging, in journalism, in editing. elephantjournal.com/academy. So Heather, all of my favorite childhood memories involve being in the water. Creeks, streams, lakes, the ocean, swimming pools, and puddles. Water makes life better. Exactly. There's this wonderful quote by Isaac Denison, is that right? And he says, salt and water are the cure for everything. It's like tears, the ocean, and sweat. Something like that. Can people remember that quote? I love it. Jill, I was so not cool, ever. Yeah, I only had a couple cool moments. I was cool in preschool because I was really tall. Apparently that's enough to be cool. And then in high school, I got cooler. But in between, I was mostly just a big, sweet nerd. And I had some good friends, but I had skipped a grade. Skipping a grade was probably not good for my sports career. I was pretty good at baseball and basketball, but skipping meant I had to compete with the varsity or whatever. I was like way shorter and out of my league. All right. Rana, hello from Lebanon. Hello to you. That is awesome. Tracy, volunteering at a very young age helps develop a giving and loving heart. Volunteering, I love that. I don't know if I did that when I was a kid. I love that. Helps them get outside of their own bubble. That is awesome. I love that. That's got to be number 6. Yeah, Syed. What Syed Ahmed Noman says. Don't care about being cool. The coolest thing is to not care about it. That said, we often do care about it. And if we do care about it, because we're kids, we're trying to be cool, how do you deal with that? It's a tough challenge. I don't know. Any wisdom on that from anyone? Elsa Cardona, Mindful Finance, link please. What is the link to... If you Google Solomon Halpern in Boulder, Colorado, can you then put that link into the comments? It's something to do with Mindful Finance. I don't remember what the link is. Yeah, Air Quattro, being real, not cool. I love that. Douglas, having come out really young, I was never really cool, but because of that, I got to experience a lot of great things and people which made me who I am today. And ultimately, Douglas, that's probably the coolest thing, is you're just being yourself. And people who don't like that, that's fine, that's their deal. But a lot of people probably were inspired by you having the guts and the confidence to be open and to be yourself. And that's inspiring. Chris Lawler, great question. Can I meditate lying down, or is the position important in the effect? Both. There is a lying down meditation. There's something like the 6 postures of the Buddha. One of them is lying down, one of them is walking, one of them is sitting. But for basic meditation, generally sitting up is recommended because it's an alert, awake posture, but it's also relaxed. But yeah, you certainly can do it lying down. There's a story where a friend of mine was in the hospital and she had to lie down and just look at the ceiling. And Trungpa Rinpoche came by and she said, hey, can I meditate like this? Because I can't sit up. And so he hopped into an empty hospital bed and he laid down for a second. And he said, yep, you're good. So, for sure. That said, if you have a habit of falling asleep when you're lying down, probably best to sit up. Jill, please allow your children to be bored. So that seems to be a good takeaway for today. Panzarella, beautiful name. I think Taoism can really help educate kids on how not everything is going to be perfect, and how the bad isn't all there is. Great. Say more. How does Taoism teach that? Giving you a like. Molly Murphy joined us. Hello, Molly. BJ, I am enjoying it. Awesome. Nick, lovely topic. Tracy, oh, this is when I said, am I being boring? I mean, boring in a bad way. Boring in a good way we've already covered. All right, Redford's back to sitting up and falling asleep at the same time. Adam, this is good. I feel that several adults carry insecurities and securities all drawn from youth experiences. Exactly. I mean, a big tree is shaped by, the winter and the spring and the fall that it went through when it was a little sapling. So that's not a profound comment. That just simply means that whatever we go through when we're children will affect our entire lives. All right, Kathy from Pennsylvania. Ari. I don't really understand your comment, but that's okay. At the end, love your earth, love you, love the humans. That sounds like safe advice. Laurel, listening in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My mom is in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Hannah McMillan, Vermont says hello. I want to move back to Vermont, so please let them know. All right. All right, there's a link from Kat or Chelsea. Something about we'll be blogging this up on Elephant later. Oh, if you want to subscribe to... So the best way to support Elephant, if you care to support Elephant and keep us alive, because it's tough out there, it's hard out there for independent media, is to get our online magazine. Our online magazine is free. elephantjournal.com/read online magazine. You are wanting our online magazine. Without it, you won't be happy. It's free. All right. Can you repair your childhood in your 40s? I mean, great question from Reina Nabil Gabara. I don't think we have a choice, right? So, some Buddhist advice on that. Yes. Whoever we are, it is never too late. The present moment is where we can repair anything. That said, we are not a project. So from a Buddhist point of view, we're not some big solid project and we have to sort through everything and go into 80 years of therapy. We don't have to. Nothing wrong with therapy. It's good to talk about our feelings and emotion, but we are not a damaged project. We are a feeling heart, a thinking mind. We've got it going on. So right now we can practice, and we'll do that meditation right at the end. Yeah, exactly what Stacey is saying. Dance. Haverhill, Massachusetts. Thank you, Darb. Big love to you. Carol, watch Disney movies. Let's get specific, because not all Disney movies, right? Lady and the Tramp, can't go wrong. Bambi, can't go wrong. What's the one about the elephant? I have not been a kid or a parent for I'm in that in-between no man's land, so I'm forgetting. What are the best Disney movies? I'm so old. All right. They say singing at least 10 minutes will help with dealing with depression. Definitely. I have a link that I just shared this morning. 8 salves or 4 salves or 4 something for everyday depression. If Kat, you can leave that in the comments. It's a helpful blog. I get to like your comment. Facebook won't let me. Oh, maybe I'm running out of juice. Alrighty. Maybe we should wrap up. I think this iPad's about to die. Alright, folks. Well, hopefully you're getting this. Let's meditate for a second. At least give you meditation instruction. And if you've already had it, you can just practice along with me. This collar's bothering me. Damn. Alright, let's just meditate, and if it dies, it dies. Take a good posture. Find your breath in and out. Begin and end your meditation with a bow of mutual respect and friendship for the world, for all human beings, not just the ones you like, and for yourself. Often having compassion or friendship for ourselves is the hardest thing. Find your breath in and out. Let's actually do this, everyone. Eyes are open, hands are flat, simple, good posture, relax. Breathe in, breathe out. No rush. Eyes are open. We're not trying to block out anything. If you find yourself distracted, label that thinking. I'm thinking, and return your attention gently to the breath. And keep doing that. Basically, find yourself distracted, come back again and again to the present moment. Sorry, I'm going to miss a lot of the comments. I think this iPad is about to die. I should have charged it more. We can end with a bow. Let's actually do this of mutual respect. Thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. I do these every day around 9 a.m. MST. Today I did it very late because I was up very late working. If you'd like to support Elephant, get our online newsletter. That will enable me to not work night and day. elephantjournal.com/best. And then if you've enjoyed this video at all, please give it a like or a share. Check out Nutso, our organic plastic-free sponsor. And remember that organic is far better and more powerful than non-GMO. Non-GMO is a good first step, but it's not nearly enough organic. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully this has helped inspire your day. Please give it a like or share. I'm only seeing about 20. It will really help this video get out to the masses. And the more we can get out mindfulness and taking ourselves not too seriously, and meditation and love for our children and for ourselves that are adult children, the better. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Please give it a like or a share. That'll help it get through Facebook's algorithm. And I think we're out of juice. All right, see you tomorrow. I'll say goodbye from Redford if the video is still going.